Good to see you again, and welcome back to Aeromotive. Did you know the electrical architecture of an automobile is the most expensive item to create? If the module is the brain of the electrical system, then the wire harness assembly is the muscle. Like any muscle in the human body, it needs a fundamental framework built on strong joints, protection against viruses, and development for longevity. It needs to be strengthened with quality terminals and crimps, wire selection, and assembly. Like the human body, what you put into it, you'll get out of it. Let's look at what goes into the building of a quality wire assembly. Everything starts with a design. A bill of materials must be constructed. The proper components must be identified. The housing, seal, and terminal must be configured to match its purpose. The wire properties must adhere to the manufacturer's specifications for insulation properties, stranding, gauge size, and conductor material, copper versus aluminum. Specifications for each item in the bill of material must be documented and stored. Then we get into a 3D drawing. A 3D drawing or rendering is created. This allows us to verify the integrity of the assembly before it is produced. We can correct for wire changes in length, gauge, or insulation. We can evaluate fit and function based on the manufacturer's specifications before we even put it into production. After the drawing is approved, we can upload the file to the CSC machine, which is basically a cut, strip, and crimp machine, to run product samples. And many times there are a lot of tweaking or a lot of adjustments that need to be made during the CSC machine process so that we can get the correct dimensions and specifications that the OEM manufacturer calls out. Let's start really digging in now. Let's talk about selecting the conductor, right? And the conductor is basically the wire strands in your wire. First and most importantly, know the country of origin. There are wire reels or leads being manufactured overseas that clearly do not have the same metallurgy properties or alloy content as the US. So know who you are purchasing from. Now let's take a closer look at wire and terminal requirements. As we mentioned in other webinars, copper versus aluminum. More aluminum wires coming into the marketplace, so know what you're ordering. The other thing that you need to be aware of is the number of strands. Some manufacturers can provide you with wire that may have very thick stranding, which would reduce the amount of flexibility in the wire. As you can see in this demonstration, where the number of stranding and wire strands are much finer, which helps also to reduce wear and tear or vibration. Insulation considerations are extremely important. Environmental conditions, interior versus exterior, resistance to a variety of fluids, fluctuations in temperature. If these conditions are not considered in the selection of your wire choice, potential for these problems can surface, such as cracking. And here's a good example of a wire that you're going to see that has experienced some extreme heat in very dry conditions. Discoloration. Here's another example. As you can see over time, and wear and tear or overload on the circuit, you begin to get discoloration on the wire. And as always, a concern, arcing. You want to be very cautious not to have insulation that's cracked, resulting in arcing. Because of our commitment to a quality control process, we offer a lifetime warranty on all replacement connector housing assemblies and an industry standard of 12 months unlimited mileage warranty. As members of the Manufacturers Equipment and Remanufacturing Association, MERA, and the Specialty Equipment and Manufacturers Association, SEMA, we're actively involved in establishing remanufacturing standards and procedures for the ground transportation industry. So in closing, utilizing design and 3D rendering, applying ISO 9001 standards to our wire, connector, terminal selection, improving the crimp quality and adhering to OEM specifications has increased our productivity. By addressing all these conditions up front and building quality into the process and doing things right the first time, rejects and rework are reduced and productivity is greatly increased in almost all cases. The return on investment for good quality is very short, and the dividends pay out immediately. So give it a try. Thank you very much, and have a safe day.